available within Trader Workstation specifically for investors seeking liquidity in high-yield corporate bonds who want to buy or sell larger bond volumes. By linking to MarketAxess, clients may enter requests for quotes on an initial 3,000 individual CUSIPs, known in the bond market as Rfqs. During today's event, we'll discuss the Rfq model and the traditional central limit order book, or CLOB, and why Rfqs are frequently best suited for larger sized trades. So to get underway with this, I'd like to welcome my colleague Joe Burke, who is Head of Fixed Income Trading here at Interactive Brokers. I'm going to hand over to Joe. Joe, welcome to today's session. And you are sharing your screen of Trader Workstation. Tell us what you've got there and how to get underway with Rfqs.
Thank you, Andy. Hello, everyone. Today we'd like to show you how to submit Rfqs to the MarketAxess platform. A little bit of background on MarketAxess. It's the largest pool of corporate bond liquidity anywhere. They do a very significant part of the daily volume in corporate bond trading, and it is an Rfq rather than a central limit order book. So to sort of explain the difference between the two, I'm going to point you to the screen. So if you look at this this bond here, Rigs 745s of April 15, 27, you see that there is a bid and an ask and a bid and ask size. These other exchanges, MarketAxess, which is the next one down, and then TradeWeb, which is a platform similar to MarketAxess, are Rfq-specific platforms. So there's no market data per se, but what you can do is instead of what we do here with central limit order book is you would go in and lift an offer to buy a bond. Trade dialog box comes up, you hit transmit. This just tells you the minimum size is larger than what I'm trying to trade, but we can leave it out there and see if we get a fill. So there's a market. What happens with these other platforms is you submit an Rfq, so it's a request for quote. And the way you do that is you right-click and then submit Rfq. A dialog box comes up, and you indicate that the size you're looking to trade and buy or sell. So we'll say 100,000. We want to buy, and we're going to submit an Rfq. Now you'll notice that this line will turn red, which once I hit OK, and that means that the Rfq is active. So once I hit OK, it'll turn red, and we should within a minute or so we should see an offer come in. I would expect to see the offer here.
So in this case, Joe, what you're doing there is you are submitting an Rfq. You submitted an order before through our smart routing mechanism, but now with that line turned red, all you've done is indicate the size that you want to trade, the direction, and that information goes out where?
It goes out to MarketAxess. So it gets routed to MarketAxess, and then from there it gets routed to all the MarketAxess dealers. They can see it. They respond to it with a price. And then as an IB customer, you can go ahead and lift that bond offer.
And the advantage then is that anybody who's a client of MarketAxess is able to pick and choose what quote they want to return on specific bonds.
That's correct. So we actually send them out to all the dealers on MarketAxess, so we're accessing all of the liquidity there. So we should see something shortly. If not, then we'll just pick a different bond. What you'll notice though is MarketAxess is an institutional platform. So while on the smart routing, for the central limit order book model, you can buy 1, 2, 5, 10 sort of smaller size lots. But for MarketAxess, we like to see a minimum of 50 to 100. We're not restricting it at the moment, but if MarketAxess complains that the sizes they're seeing are smaller, we will enforce a minimum size. I would expect probably 50,000. So give it another minute or so. Some dealers quote these things automatically with an algorithm. Some price them manually. So it is a slow week for trading. So let's just give it another minute. If not, we'll take a different bond. And again, see, we have an offer here, 100,000 offered at 81.27. So you will now notice that we have 123 offered here at 79.44. In most cases, the MarketAxess level will be better than the smart routing level, but not always. And this is an example of when that happens. So, so let's pick another. So what I could do is just go in here and change the quantity to the amount, and I could submit an order. I'm not going to do that because of the size of the bond. I don't want a long 100,000 bond position, but that's how it would work. So discard that, and then we're going to pick another bond.
So just as you're doing that, just talk a little bit about that and the information that's come back. That presumably that 81.27 quote on 100,000, that was the size that you asked for, but will that change over the course of the next 30 seconds, minute or so?
The size?
Not the size, but the price that's come back.
Oh yes, the price can change because it will, and we will always show you the better price. So we could receive up to 10 prices or even more during a period of time that the RFQ is active. We will always display the best price that's available.
But you'll only see an improved price?
Correct.
It will never deteriorate.
It will never deteriorate.
Unless the market moves, of course.
Unless the person who submitted the offer has a timer that is shorter than some of the others, right. In which case, if the offer times out, then we will show you the next best price. So I'm going to do this for a smaller size and see if I can get a price, and then we can do an execution.
So the aim here is to get the best price for your bond for the order that you want to submit. You're showing your hand to this group of dealers
right.
through MarketAxess. But you might not see something inside the quote. It may be outside.
It may be, right. And you're also seeing, the other thing, you're seeing liquidity from buy side. So MarketAxess has this all-to-all platform. So we submit these RFQs to both the dealer community and to the members of the all-to-all platform. So there are large buy-side institutions on there as well who could respond to these. The reason that RFQ is preferable for institutional business is that the central limit order book model is one where you have a live streaming quote out there all day long. And dealers, the market gyrates around and dealers can get picked off because they didn't update their quote fast enough, particularly the people who don't do everything with an algorithm. They do it on a manual basis. But so the central limit order book, you're basically saying, look, show me an offer on 100,000 of this bond, and put your best foot forward, and they will respond. So if the market moves, they can cancel their offer, but less chance of them getting picked off. So it's a much more comfortable way for them to do institutional business.
And Joe, you want to define? I mean, this is specifically for high yield, right?
Yeah.
It's just a group of bonds that have certain characteristics.
It's high yield and it's emerging market. So the reason this is a limitation at MarketAxess, and the reason is that MarketAxess has investment grade bonds available, but they trade on a spread to Treasury. We need them to send. Here we have a price. So here you go. You have, again, slightly worse than here, but it's only for 20 bonds. So if we take that, change the quantity to 20. By the way, this is a minor bug. What happens when you submit the RFQ and you get a response back, for 20 bonds, we default here to the minimum size for the bond. We need to make that change to so it defaults to the size of the RFQ. That's being worked on, but for the time being, you just need to change the amount. So I hit transmit, override and transmit, and we got a fill. So we bought 20,000 bonds at that price, at 68.712. What else? What were we just discussing?
The characteristics of John.
Oh, yeah. So high yield bonds or junk bonds and emerging market debt are traded on a price basis. High yield or investment grade bonds or high grade bonds trade on a spread basis. So this trade to a spread to a treasury, and they're quoted that way. So instead of being a price like 68.6950, it would be a spread of say plus 85, which being it's 85 basis points over the comparable treasury. MarketAxess is working on changing that so that they will send us both the spread and the price, so that we can display them properly in Trader Workstation. And once we can do that, we will have investment grade bonds available as well.
So Joe, could you show us how to actually enter? Not enter an order, but to call up a CUSIP that's not.
So the way you do this is, I'll put in another CUSIP here. Put in a CUSIP 026 375. So I just typed in the CUSIP and it gives me the choice of 3 different exchanges: Smart, which is the central limit order book, MarketAxess, and TradeWeb, which are both RFQ models. So I'm just going to select all and show you that. So the reason we don't have a market on this one at the moment, but the reason I do all 3 is because it just gives you some context. So, for example, since the Smart router, the central limit order book, has a market, it gives you a point of reference. So when you go to submit an RFQ, you know what the inside market is on these bonds. So you'd hope to trade within that spread. Keep in mind, MarketAxess and TradeWeb RFQs are about price discovery. It's not something you can bid back. So you ask for a bid, you ask for an offer. It's either execute at those levels or do nothing. Whereas the central limit order book, for example, here, we could put in a bid. And we'll make it. And that shows up here. That's my bid. So if you're looking to buy at a specific price and you're not getting the response you're looking for, the price you're looking for from MarketAxess or TradeWeb via an RFQ, you can use the central limit order book and put in your limit price. So additionally, I also make a plug here for my trading desk. For orders of 100,000 or more, we can source liquidity for you manually. We go to the street and we work orders for customers all the time. You can come to me and say, I'm looking for a bid or an offer on this bond in this size, or you can say, I'm looking to work an order at this level, and we'll do that for you. Send an email to bonddesk@ibkr.com, and we'll respond and give you all the information you need to trade with us.
Now, Joe, the bond that you just put in a few minutes ago, the 6.1% coupon, the bottom one, the American something or other.
Yes.
Couldn't see the name of it. So this has no live market data.
Correct.
Because it hasn't traded today. So what should somebody expect if they were to put in, if they were to make an RFQ? I mean, having a market there, the central limit order book, is a good guide, but should you be disappointed if you get no response from a market maker using the RFQ or not?
It depends on the bond. I mean, the MarketAxess will reflect the liquidity available to the dealer community. So if the bond is illiquid, this one may be, and I would say given that it hasn't traded today and there's currently no market data.
How can you tell it hasn't traded today?
You can see the last price. If it has a C next to it, that means it's a closing price from yesterday. So that means this bond did not trade today.
All right, so we don't give up hope. We can tell that it's not traded today because of that C notation and the fact that there's no market data there, but we could still get an RFQ. We can certainly request a quote.
That's right.
We just might not get anything back.
That's right. And this is the price where I traded. So what you always see here, assuming the bond is trace reportable, which many are, is you see the last trace print. So if this wasn't me who traded, it happened to be me that traded at this price, but if someone else had traded the bond at another firm, that we would still update this price to show the last price, and that's the trace print.
All right, so we know how to input the QSIP, how to select. You've explained SMART and the two RFQ venues, which are not going to give you market data. Rather, you're going to click right on those and make the RFQ in the direction of the trade you want to make, either buy or sell, for the quantity. If they come back and you like it, you can trade on it.
Right.
And it's that straightforward.
It's that straightforward. And, we will be, as we gear up our bond offering for more institutional business, because it's meeting the demands of our clients, we will be adding Treasuries to RFQ. The TradeWeb is the #1 platform for Treasuries, and they're done via RFQ. You can do large size, so it is not unusual to see someone coming in to a TradeWeb platform, 100 million, 200 million, 500 million, and getting bids or offers, and the dealers responding. So, so if you think about that for a moment, the reason you wouldn't want to price that sort of size in the central limit order book is because the market moves around a lot. So, the dealers can say, all right, I'm on 100 million of the 5-year note. Here's my price. It's good for 10 seconds or 30 seconds. They determine the window, and then you can just go in and lift, and you get your whole quantity. So one of the advantages of doing when you're doing bigger trades is you get your full size right there. This is particularly important to the buy side, where they don't necessarily want to trade the bond. They just want to buy the bond or sell the bond, and they're not looking to buy 5 bonds at 68, another 50 bonds at 68 and a quarter. They just want one price. They want to be able to show they did due diligence. The fact that we send this out to multiple dealers shows that you can document that that it was sent to MarketAxess, which is a multi-dealer platform, and you can be sure that many people saw this, so you get that comfort level that that it was seen by many dealers. Additionally, European government bonds are something we're going to be adding to this, as well as it's going to be a bit down the road, but Asian bonds as well.
Now, Joe, you mentioned the email address for the bond desk. Just remind me again of what that is.
Yes, it's bonddesk, BONDDESK, @ibkr.com.
And is a good starting point for anybody who's new to the platform, or for existing clients, or for advisors. Are there any minimums, or will you just help out with the
Sure. Yeah, it's 100,000 minimum notionally, and the commissions are the standard electronic commission that IB charges, plus a $50 ticket charge that we charge for the additional level of service.
Great. Now, folks on the webinar, if you have any questions, please use the question panel to submit them to Joe, and he'll do his best to answer. Otherwise, is there anything else that you want to show us here, Joe?
No, I don't think so. I think this is pretty much all of it.
It's all very intuitive.
Yeah.
Certainly, if you know what you're doing with bonds, you're just gonna. I think you're using the classic TWS interface. You could use this on. Can you use this on Mosaic?
You can use it on Mosaic. Yes, it's happened to be old school and prefer the classic.
So this is your display of choice, and that's your privilege.
That's right. Exactly.
So, enter your QSIP, select the MarketAxess, TradeWeb Institutional, right-click, get the RFQ, wait for a response, and you can trade from there.
Right.
Looks like we've got a couple of questions.
Sure. Rodrigo is asking what options are for small accounts, small accounts. Well, that would be the central limit order book. So smart routing. So basically here, you can go in and lift minimum size here. Kind of whatever Did that answer your question, Rodrigo? Is there something specific you were looking for?
It could be something. Okay. Good. You answered the question. That's good. Do you have an optimizer portfolio?
Are you talking about things like portfolio ladders, or are you talking about like VAR and things like that?
The one thing I can think of, Joe, that might be of value to Rodrigo is the Risk Navigator, where you can monitor, you can view your portfolio. You know, if you're only trading bonds, you're only going to see bonds.
Right.
But it's going to aggregate everything together. But the Risk Navigator tool will allow you to kind of run some what-if scenarios and see the risk.
And look at all the Greeks. Yeah. The other thing is we are working on building some ladder functionality, so you'll be able to create a maturity ladder and also an income ladder. So what I mean by that specifically is that, you know, so you want to invest X amount of dollars over the next 10 years, you want to have maturities every 2 years. You can go in, we'll give you a tool, we will have a tool for you that will allow you to construct that ladder. So you have a bond maturing every other year based upon the filtering criteria that you specify. Additionally, if you're buying bonds for the income and you want to have a coupon payment every month, you know, bonds pay semi-annually for the most part. So you would be able to use this tool to create that same portfolio, but one that has 6 bonds, each paying a coupon every month. Well, sorry, I said that incorrectly. You have 6 bonds paying twice a year, so you structure it so that you have a coupon that you would receive every month from one of the bonds.
And this is to help you send the kids to college, John.
Yeah, or for a retired person who wants to get a check every month, you know, that works quite well. Very good.
Thanks for the questions, Rodrigo. Hopefully we answered those. The Risk Navigator is available from the new window drop-down menu in Mosaic, but also from I think the analytical tools drop-down menu from the classic TWS that Joe's displaying on screen. You're very welcome, Rodrigo. Any other questions from any of the webinar attendees? We will send you the notes, the PDF, and a link to today's recording after the session. Thank you very much for joining us. And Joe Burke, Head of Fixed Income Trading here at Interactive Brokers, thanks for an excellent display, an explanation of MarketAxess Rfqs on the Trader Workstation platform. And I think that looks like we have no further questions. So over to you, Joe, to wrap up the session.
Yeah. So you know, please let us know if you need any help with MarketAxess. You can use that same email address, bonddesk@ibkr.com. That's really intended for trading. But if you have specific questions about how to use either MarketAxess or TradeWeb, I'm happy to help you with that. It comes to me as well as several of my colleagues, so one of us will get back to you. You know, we're one of the first, I think we're the first electronic platform to connect to MarketAxess in this way, and I think this is going to be a great thing for IB clients, and I'm looking forward to hearing feedback from all of you. Thanks, everyone.